In this video, we'll show you how we clean our Whirlpool Duet Steam washing machine's filter. Before getting started, you want to make sure your washing machine is unplugged for your safety while you are working on it. With no power to the appliance, we can now begin to look for the bottom panel that we need to remove. For ours, we know that the filter on this model is on the front of it, and so we're going to look for 3 screws that are on the very bottom of the front of our washer. To remove these screws, we'll be using a 1/4 inch socket wrench. Yours may be different depending on the model of your machine. While this should be a rather easy step, due to the angle and how low the machine is to the ground, it actually took us quite a while to get these screws out. With the screws removed, this bottom panel is now going to be free to remove from the machine. It may take a little while. You got to kind of wiggle it and then pull it down to release the metal from the machine. Setting the metal cover off to the side, we can see this is the filter that we are going to be accessing. You can see it does have a little cap that screws on. We will need to unscrew that. However, before doing so, we're going to grab a towel to place underneath it. Unfortunately, with this model, there's not enough room to place a dish, so we have to resort to a towel to soak up any of the excess water that's still inside the filter before we can actually access the filter itself. With our towel in place, we're going to be using pliers to get this guy off. We're not going to squeeze down onto it. We're just going to use it to give us some extra leverage because we were unable to unscrew this with just our hands. So as you begin to unscrew it, just be careful because water will start to pour out at a certain point, and then you just want to slowly let the water out as you absorb it with the towel. You will probably need to move the towel around, and in our case, we even had so much water that we had to actually switch towels in order to make sure all of the water got absorbed. One little trick we have is that you can just re-tighten up the valve. If too much water is coming out, you need to switch it. That's an easy way to get this done, but it is a long process. Took us about 10 minutes to get through this whole thing. And finally, when the water stopped coming out, we were able to fully unscrew this and remove the filter. As you can see, this filter is absolutely nasty. I don't think we've ever changed this or cleaned this. Today, we're just going to be dumping all the junk in here. Some of the coins actually got disintegrated while being in there. They've been in there quite a while. So once we've removed all of the big pieces of debris, go ahead and take that filter and we're just going to rinse it off. My goal here is really just to remove any of the pieces of slime or sludge that are stuck on there. I don't care too much about the stains since I'm not going to be looking at it. As long as the big pieces of residue are gone, that's all I'm hoping for here. After giving it a thorough wash down, it is now clean and ready to go. But before we reinsert it, I do want to clean out the inside of this filter housing just because it is pretty nasty. Again, the biggest goal that I have is just to remove the large pieces of debris. I'm not doing a super deep clean here, just getting all of the major pieces out. And wiping down that filter housing definitely helped. Now, before we reinsert the filter, I'm going to take a towel and just wipe up any of the dirt or grime that got dropped out below. To put the filter back, you're going to want to notice this little icon on the top, and then there's a little line on the bottom. These are going to correlate with grooves that are inside the filter housing. That first icon is going to go on the top, and then that line is going to go on the very bottom. With that said, we can go ahead, take it, and insert it into the filter. After it is inserted, you want to make sure that you tighten it to where it is snug and secured where water is not going to be leaking out of there. Replacing the front panel is actually rather simple. One tip we have is to keep it on the ground and then slide it into the machine. Once it has reached the machine, then you can push up and the metal should kind of hold it in place for you to screw it in. Grabbing these screws, we can go ahead and begin to reinsert them into our washer. The final step of this process is to plug in the washer, and once you are plugged in, then you are good to go. And that is how you clean the filter of a Whirlpool Duet Steam washing machine. Thanks for watching.